Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here, and thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the Norman Jr. versus Cuevas is on, as Brian Norman Jr., the undefeated and newly upgraded welterweight champion of the world, is going to make the first defense of his title when he battles Puerto Rican Derek Cuevas, as they will collide on as the ESPN co-feature on November 2nd for the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So this fight is a good one, for Brian Norman, but I say that, but it's also disappointing because Brian Norman had an opportunity to get in the ring with Boots Ennis to unify belts, and he scoffed at $1.5 million offer from Eddie Hearn. Apparently, this is all supposed, that he did not take the fight because he did not like the $1.5 million offer to fight Boots Ennis to unify belts. But his previous fight, he only made like $1 million. I mean, he only made $100,000. Excuse me. So it seems a little, surprising that he would pass on that. But also, the guy's only 23 years old, and everything's come to him so fast. He pulled off a major upset, defeating undefeated Giovanni Santillan to capture the WBO interim belt. I believe that was back in May. And then Crawford, just less than 3 months later, becomes the super welterweight champ at 154 and decides to give up his belt within a month. So this guy, just like that, scored a huge upset, and when he was a virtual unknown, and then boom, he's the world champion at 23 years old. So it's a wide open welterweight division. So, in a way, I'm kind of not surprised that he passed on the fight with Boots. But it's this one here against Cuevas. Cuevas 27-1-1. He's got 19 knockouts, 29 years old, so he's definitely not old. He's actually in his physical prime age from what the average is. But he really hasn't defeated anybody. His lone defeat was a 6-round split decision loss back in 2020. So, okay, really he hasn't tasted a true defeat. Coming in against Brian Norman, though. So Norman, I think his team, his people are, know what they're doing when it comes to selecting opponents, and I think they're smart about it. So we'll see what happens in this fight on November 2nd. It is the co-feature to Keyshawn Davis and Gustavo Lemos in their 135-pound clash. But I think Norman, this is a good way to kind of solidify his year, get him looked at. Maybe he can put on a good performance to kind of get his name on people's, lips out there, because he does need to be known a little bit more before he can jump into those big fights. And then we'll see what he does going forward. But going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out. A new welterweight champion in Brian Norman Jr. as he makes his first defense against this little-known Puerto Rican Derek Cuevas. So Saturday, November 2nd, ESPN, the co-main event, Norman Jr. versus Cuevas, is on for the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World at 147 pounds. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing, and you've been hit with the truth.